Welcome to week 10, and in this lesson we're going to show you a few things about working with section lines and putting these into parts. Now, this week's lesson we'll be in chapter 10, section views, and we're going to show you how this little tool works. Now, this is in front of you is the bearing design. You're going to draw this in your tutorial. However, we're looking at this. This is the front view, this is the right side, and this one is exactly what it should look like in a right side view. However, what they're wanting to do is put a cutting plane down through this, and when they do that, this line right here is your cutting plane, and anytime they cut this down through here, what they're doing is this arrow is signifying what you're looking at. So when it turns to the right hand side, you're going to see all this internal parts that's been cut down through here. Now this part on the right hand side will be tossed away, and the only thing you'll see is the left hand side and just the parts that's been cut. So if that is true, you take and you toss this right hand side off, these won't be hidden anymore, these lines here. So you'd have to go in here and we'd have to change all those to solid lines or object lines. Just like that. And now the parts that were cut, this in between here, this in between here, and it would be this area would be cut, this would be open because it's that hole, this would be cut, this would be cut, and this would be cut. Now to signify that, anytime you cut any material, I don't care if it's working in architecture as far as concrete, concrete block, any type of metal, it can be, you know, cork or anything like that. It has its own significant hatch pattern, and basically all you have to do is come over here to hatch, and inside here you have hatch patterns. You've got a pattern, gradient, or a solid that you can use. For this one I want to use a pattern, and basically you come over here and define the pattern. You got a hatch pattern, you've got tons of stuff that's already defaulted into the software, and on this one I'm just going to use this basic, this is a general section line. They're typically 45 degrees and they're about 1/8 of an inch apart, so click on it, and all you have to do is just come over here and just put it in a closed boundary and click, just like this. That is all the parts that's been cut by this cutting plane, and just enter, and there they are. Now if you're trying to work with something that's large or small, click on it and it brings you back up to your hatch pattern. The computer's running a little bit slow, but you can actually adjust your scale on it. You can go 2 times, see how I made it wider. You go 3 times, making it wider. But 1 scale is perfect on this. It looks really good like that. Also, you can change your angles. You can, if you don't like that angle, you can get in here and change it to a different angle, 180, and just has it going the opposite way, whichever way you want to do it. But typically they're on a 45-degree angle. Besides this, you can also go in here, instead of doing a pattern, you can do a solid. If you wanted to do a solid, you can change it back. You can do a gradient color. You can go in there and once you get that in, you can toy around with the transparencies of it and things like that. But for this one we wanted to use that pattern just like that, and that's as easy as it is. It's real simple, and again there's tons of different patterns in here that you can use depending on what object it is you're cutting through. It might be multiple, and you can kind of go through here and look. There's concrete, sand, brick, so there's all kinds of really cool stuff that you can use in there to signify what the material is you're cutting through. And the reason we do section views is to be able, just like we talked about, is to see the internal parts without having hidden lines and things like that. When you do a section view, this is what they call a full section. We're cutting the full thing through. Is this full section, it lets you see everything that's going on internally, and also on section views you never have hidden lines in the section view. Okay, so on this chapter, that's what I want you to do, is draw this tutorial, the bearing, and you're going to actually go to, in project 9, you're going to go to pages 11-4 and 11-5. You're going to draw me the cap, the collar, the base plate. You're going to do top, front, and right sides on all of those. But this is the first thing you're going to do. This is going to be assignment 9, is to draw this tutorial out and put it on a sheet for me. Now I don't have my sheet laid out, but again, to bring it in, you're going to go to layout. If you got your your borders title box, you use polygonal. I'm just going to use the rectangular one. Make sure you use the viewport layer to put this in with, and then you want to scale this thing in using the best scale. I use 1:1 on this, and then after you get that 1:1 scale in there, go back to model and make sure your scale is 1:1, and then you can start dimensioning this thing. And you come over here, your dimensions will be in. So again, if you have any problems with any of this, just please let me know.